Hi everyone, welcome to my channel today. I'd like to introduce you to my lovely friend Jen Bunting. Hi Jen.
Hi.
Thank you for coming for this interview today. I really appreciate your time, your wisdom, and just spending day with you will be amazing. So thank you.
Oh, thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure.
So everyone, Jen Bunting is yoga teacher. She's also a somatic bodywork practitioner and a course creator. And we just want to talk today about a bit of yoga, about soul evolution, and about her course as well. So welcome again.
Thank you.
So how did it come up for you to come with yoga? How did you learn yoga? What's the background? Where did it all start?
Well, first of all, I went to college at 17 and studied holistic therapies full time. And I started up my holistic therapy business after working in banking and engine oil sales.
Oh wow, it's a bit of a change.
It is. I just had to get the office job thing out of my system and realise that isn't what I want to do. So yeah, I went back to holistic therapies in 2013 after my son was born, and set up a business called the Zen Den.
Oh wow.
Which was a space that was built onto the side of our home.
All right.
And then I had my daughter in 2015 and continued my holistic therapy business and ran a few retreat days, like pamper days, where people would come and see multiple therapists on the same day. And then, whilst having practiced yoga myself for a few years, I got invited by a friend to go to India to study yoga teacher training. And I did. I went to India for a month in early 2019 and studied 5 styles of yoga. So I did Ashtanga, Aerial, Hatha, Vinyasa, and Yin. And after a whole month of practicing these styles every day and qualifying in them, the only styles that I took forward were Hatha, Aerial, and Yin, because Ashtanga and Vinyasa for me felt too fast and too forced, and they didn't feel embodied.
So feel more masculine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the time you were in a pose, you were going to the next one, and you didn't. I felt like I couldn't connect to my body.
Right. Okay. You needed more time, a bit slower pace.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
So I had an aerial swing in the Zen Den, which I practiced on myself, and I love aerial, but now I'm on a boat. There's no space for an aerial swing, but I would go back to it if I had the space. So I practice and teach Yin with a bit of Hatha.
Oh, lovely.
And more on a somatic level, so I invite introspection whilst my students are in certain poses. Depending on what area they're stretching into will depend on what questions I invite them to ask themselves, because I believe that trauma is held in different areas of the body. So if they're stretching their chest, I'll get them or invite them to ask questions to do with the heart or love or grief.
Yes, anything to do with emotions. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful, because they can really feel empowered, perhaps, because they're working on themselves with themselves.
Yeah.
It's not sort of prescribed.
No,
you know.
Yeah, they're in each pose for 5 minutes, and usually they have a journal next to them whilst in the pose if they can.
Oh, amazing!
Yeah,
I love that.
So it's like therapy and yoga together.
Oh, that's so cool! Like, is that something that you were drawn to do yourself, or was it part of the training, the journaling alongside?
No,
that's sort of your.
Yeah, that's my spin on it.
Your spin on it. I think that's perfect. That's I think the yogis, obviously, I assume they were more about introspection. The yoga was introduced more as an add-on to make them feel comfortable in the poses, isn't it? So I love that. That's a very unusual, in the West, I would say, take on it, and I think it adds a huge value to it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So is it more one-on-one you do, or is it groups?
I do group yoga classes and the occasional workshop, which will be like a 2-hour yin class, food, and then yoga nidra. But I am studying somatic experiencing at the moment. So once I'm qualified in the somatic experiencing, I would like to offer one-to-one blend of yoga, body work and somatic experiencing in one. So I will help people into their yoga poses, a bit like Thai yoga massage, and work on certain muscles using my knowledge of metaphysical causes of disease. So a lot of childhood trauma is held in the calves. So if I'm working on that with a client, it will be putting the calves into a pose where they're stretched, and then I'll also work while also helping them introspect on what area I'm working on.
That's a proper therapy.
Yeah.
It is a really holistic approach, isn't it? That's fascinating. What does the somatic body work, what does it do, and what is it really for?
So my understanding of somatic body work is, as I've described, working on certain areas of the body, feeling what's there, but also remaining present so that you're not taken back into the trauma and re-traumatizing yourself. So if a client is having a memory or I've taken them back to a painful memory, if I can sense that it's becoming traumatic for them, I will encourage them to be present with what they can smell, taste, hear, touch.
Right, so
and
slightly
keep it safe.
Remove it a bit, remove it slightly so it's not so, so it's more observational rather. And
with the yoga classes, there is a big call for it from the people that are interested in personal growth. But it's not as popular as when I did classes where there wasn't introspection involved. I'm not sure if that's because people are uncomfortable with facing their challenges and their traumas, but the people that are invested and do have a growth mindset, they really enjoy the classes.
I think they're probably ready to go and explore it and heal it. Oh, that's fantastic. I love that. Thank you so much for explaining this. I mean, somatics goes to subconscious layers. Am I understanding it right? In terms of somatic, how would you describe somatic?
It's more accessing what the body's holding. So yes, it is subconscious. It's using the body as a tool to guide you towards what is still being stored in the body and what's no longer needed.
So does it feel sometimes like pain, or like what's the sensation like people feel, if you can describe it a bit?
Pain, stiffness, all sorts of sensations. Burning. It's not always uncomfortable as well. Sometimes it can feel like that's like over flexible, like hyper mobility. Could also be.
So it's really varied. Okay, that's really cool. I love it. We had such a lovely conversation earlier about souls and old souls, and I really love this concept. I think when I was about 14, or the sort of teenage era, I think we maybe, not everyone, but lots of us explored this back then, and we were introduced into this, haven't we? I remember if you read a book from Robert Moody, I think it was called. It was Life After Life. It's a very famous book about past lives.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I'll have a look at that.
Oh, yes.
I like that.
You're intrigued. Yeah, it's a quite old book now, but for me, it was the introduction into reincarnation, and it was so beautiful. Someone reassured me or confirmed what I thought already, that we don't just die and disappear, and that the soul stays, and we touched on it, didn't we, about sort of old souls and young souls, and our soul evolution. And I know you're on a journey this lifetime. Would you like to expand on that? Well, like, what is your view on souls and soul evolution? What do you think? How does it work?
Okay. It's amazing that you were introduced to that at 14.
Yeah, I was a real seeker.
Yeah, because at 14 I was definitely not on the path of understanding why I'm here. It was more of a, how can I survive?
Well, we all had, different...
it's great that was
I think it was part of that as well as survival, genuinely. It was, we went along with it thinking, am I going to survive this? And if I do, am I going to live another life?
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. So I've always felt like I'm different and like I don't fit in. And at school, I would try my best to make myself fit in. So I would adapt and change myself depending on what group of friends I was trying to get in with. But I never really formed a group of friends. I had singular friends, and I still do now. But I'm trying to bring all those old souls together. I've come to understand how my path feels different to others recently, maybe in the last 10 years, because I don't seem to make choices that fit in with social norms. I would say that I choose the harder path. And I've questioned, why do I choose to break the generational patterns of abuse? Why do I choose to not have a TV to distract myself with? Why do I choose not to distract myself with comfort food and alcohol and drugs? Because that surely is easier than feeling everything. But I understand that in feeling things, feeling emotions and situations and relationships, is growthful. I often ask myself, what's motivating me? Because I haven't set a lifetime goal of never allowing any distraction or overindulging in desire. It's just happening. And through understanding soul age, it's helped me understand why I might be choosing this more difficult path. Yeah. For the purpose of soul evolution.
Well, I mean, even might be even an illusion that is more difficult, because it's not the most difficult if you think about it. No. It might be to people who like to be distracted, but to you, actually, you're just going straight on a path without distractions. It might not be the difficult one.
It doesn't feel difficult for me, but I can see that from an outside perspective, to choose not to have the luxuries of TV, I guess, is the easiest
an example,
one.
Yeah.
It's more comfortable to sit down of an evening and watch somebody else's life and to distract yourself from what's going on in your own life, rather than I spend my evenings doing yin and introspection and reflecting on my day.